butterflies, in today's video, or more I should say it's more of tonight's video, but by the time I upload it, it'll be today. So today's video is going to be my October wrap up. So you guys, I'm sorry for the lighting. I don't know like what's it gonna look like because there's definitely no sun out right now. It's like 11:30 at night.
And they're like, why are you waiting to film at 11:30 at night? And it's just, I don't know, I just got the urge to film like now. I was like, you might as well just make a video so they don't think that you just like up and disappear again. So I'm like, well, might as well do it now while I'm not doing anything. Like literally, I'm doing nothing. And last night I just had a terrible like restless night. So I was like, well, sleep is coming no time soon. So I might as well, stay up and make my videos and let you guys know what I read in October.
So in October, I read a total of 3 books. Which I think is absolutely wonderful for me. I'm like so happy. I'm like patting myself on the back. I'm just so proud. 2 of the 3 books that I read in the month of October were library books, and they were both graphic novels. And the first one that I read was Through the Woods by Emily Carroll, which I gave a 4 out of 5 stars to it. I just thought it was absolutely wonderful. Like, I really wanted to read this book last year for Halloween, but I ended up reading Witches by itself instead. I never got around to actually buying Through the Woods. So when I was in the library and I saw this one in the library, I was like, yeah, might as well check it out. And I could read it for free, so then that way I could satisfy my taste buds for this book, because I really did want to read for Halloween last year. But this graphic novel is actually 5 stories wrapped in 1 book. But my favorite story out of this whole graphic novel was the second story, which I think is called A Lady's Cold Hands. And I love that story. That was my favorite one after that. But on the downside of this book, I feel like after the second story, the last 3 stories weren't really scary or creepy or anything. So I just felt let down by that, because I expected 100% for this book to be all the way creepy and scary and all the stories, not just halfway. And it wasn't really even a whole halfway. And I think one of the stories I just didn't get in the first place. Like, I didn't like how it ended at all. I feel like it didn't end. It was just, they just went on to the next story. But I really, as a whole, the book was really good. But if I was going story by story after the first 2 books, the stories weren't really scary anymore. But I would still reread this book anyway, even though the last 3 weren't really creepy. But that's just how good of a graphic novel I thought it was. I would still reread it, and I would recommend it as a good Halloween read, because all in all, altogether, I think it was, pretty creepy enough for Halloween altogether. Just if I'm picking out individual stories, those last 3 need some work. And the second book that I read in October was also a graphic novel, and it was also a library book. And that book is Anya's Ghost by Vera Brogstall. I have no idea how you say her last name, and I know I probably did a terrible job, or I'll be just so happy if I was like close or on point with the name, but I doubt it. But I gave Anya's Ghost 3 out of 5 stars. And I know y'all like, oh wow, what was so wrong with that book? And honestly, like, I really liked this story. It was really just one big thing that made me just be like, no, this is a 3-star book. It would have been a whole lot better if this just wouldn't have been in there. But first of all, I really liked the graphics in this novel. I don't know really why, but I love the graphic style of this book. I really did. And I really loved the slow transformation of Emily, which was the ghost. She like slowly transformed from Casper, the friendly ghost, into like Annabelle. Like, it went slowly. It's like when you first meet her, you was like, oh
yeah, she was really nice, and I was being kind of tough on her. She's really nice, but then by the end of the story, you're like, oh my gosh, she is crazy and insane. I can't believe that she put on this like sheep's clothing to be that kind of wolf on the inside. Like,
I really did enjoy that. But even though I do like having a full story, like, I like to have full details and like a full story in a graphic novel, and not just a half-ass story to make the novel shorter, I do think that this story for Anya's Ghost, I feel like it drug on like way too long, specifically for a graphic novel. I felt like it should have been, a lot more fast-paced, or a lot, like a big chunk of the story really could have been cut out, because it was pretty much just repetition, like a lot of repetition, like the same stuff every day. So I feel like a good chunk of that could have been cut out, and it would have made all the difference in the world to me. I just felt like it drug on, and I don't like reading stuff that I feel like it drags on too long, because then I feel like I start to be like, okay, when are we going to get past this? And I just start flipping through the book like, okay, I'm tired of reading this, and I just read about that. So that's the part that made me give it a 3-star rating, is because I feel like it just drug on way too long. I was just expecting something more, quicker and, more to the point. But all in all, it was a pretty decent graphic novel. I wouldn't necessarily say I would be rereading this anytime, but I would still recommend it as a Halloween read, as in something if you're looking for something that'll get you in the Halloween mood, like with, the basic Halloween stuff like Ghost. But it's not really scary, because Anya's Ghost to me is not really scary. It's pretty much, dialed down, but it'll still get you in the Halloween mood because it has ghosts in it, and that's a common thing for Halloween. The last book that I read in October was The Dolls by Kiki Sullivan, and I really enjoyed this book. I was so happy that I read this book. This book just did so much for me. It was just so amazing to me. The most amazing part of this book that stuck with me through the whole book was the fact that it's freaking set in Louisiana, and I live in Louisiana and I'm from Louisiana, so just reading this just had me hyped the whole book, because you see so much of Louisiana culture in this fiction books, and I was like, oh my god, yes, I know what that is, I understand that, I know how to do that. I was just psyched the whole book reading that. Just read through stuff that I experience in my life daily, or yearly, or seasonally, whatever. It was freaking amazing to me. I did give this book a 4.5 out of 5 stars. I really wish Goodreads had the half rating, because I hate when I just have to put 4 stars when I really, in my mind, it's 4.5. But my expectations were definitely met. I really enjoyed the characters, even though I feel like some characters did not grow at all. They pretty much stayed the same from the time I met them in the store, from the time, the book ended. And I wished some of them would have changed, but then some of them, on the other hand, it didn't really matter, because they didn't really have a big part in the story to where I'm like, oh, they need to work on that. So I was disappointed, but I wasn't disappointed. Just for certain characters that I felt like should have learned a bigger lesson through the whole story. I feel like they didn't, they didn't make any progress like they should have. And although I see it's supposed to be a series, I actually like where we ended off in this book itself. So I don't think I'll be reading any more, from, The Dolls as a series, because I really liked how the first book ended, and I don't really think that it needed more books after it. I mean, it did end off to where it's like, oh yeah, that could be a second part, but I don't think it's enough to where the second book is going to be anything amazing, just because of everything that happened in the first book. So I feel like this book is a good book to end off on. This book is a good recommendation for anyone that's looking, just like I said about Anya's Ghost, if you're looking for something creepy, but this is something, if you're looking for something creepy, but not necessarily, scary. It's going to give you more of a paranoia feeling, more than you actually being scared, because it's going to make you, look at other people around you and, double think, who you hang with and, who you trust. But it's also a good book for if you're looking for something fun and magical, because it's not voodoo. They don't call it voodoo in here, they call it something else, but it's like voodoo. So it's really good if you're looking for something fun and magical also. So I recommend this book to you guys. I hope you guys will pick this up and let me know what you guys thought about this book, or if you've read it already, which I have not seen a lot of this on BookTube or around. So, and I really hate that, because I think this is a really good book, and I think it needs more publicity. I think more people should read this book, because I really enjoyed it. But everybody doesn't like what I like. But this does not get too much love on YouTube at all. I watched a couple videos after I read it, and I was like, I really haven't seen this book on BookTube at all. So I went to look for videos. There's not too many videos about this book, with people talking about this book. So I think you guys should really pick this up and give this book the attention that it deserves, because it is a really good book. Another book that I started in October but I didn't finish it was You by Caroline Kepnes, and I'm really enjoying this book. I'm still not finished. I have a ways to go, but I'm enjoying this book. I'm telling you that. But I'm not gonna say anything else, because I'm gonna save that for my wrap up, or if I do a review. I don't want to promise you a review and I don't do one, because I don't do reviews like I used to. So I don't want to promise a review video and I don't do one, but I will definitely talk about it in my wrap up for November. But I started reading this book at the end of October. I thought I would be able to push myself to finish it before. I think I started reading this like maybe October like 28ish, 29th. And I was like, I was trying to push myself to try to hurry up and read it before the end of October. It didn't work. Hopefully this book like just gets better and better and better. And by the end of the book, I don't be saying it started off good, but then so thank you guys so much for watching my October wrap up. I hope you guys liked it. Let me know in the comments below what books you read in the month of October, what you thought about my books that I read in the month of October, if you guys have read any, which I'm pretty sure a lot of people have read Through the Woods, because I used to hear a lot about that specific graphic novel on BookTube. So I know a lot of people have read that, so just give me your input on what you guys thought about the book, if you agree with me or not. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.